Folks, welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the last edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show for this week. It is Friday. Yes, it is Friday. We have made it through another work week. I don't know about you guys, but mine has been long and productive. There's a little busy sprinkled here and there because that's just life, but it has been productive. I'm a little tired. I've mentioned that Thursday. It seems to be how my weeks go, full of energy early on. And as the week goes on, I get a little bit less energy, a little bit more tired. And my focus in those moments is to look back and to realize just how much I've accomplished this week. I am very pleased with how this week has unfolded. I'm pleased with how I've managed the things that didn't go the way that I wanted them to. Did I get them all right in the moment? No. But collectively, when I look back over the last week, I can see progress, not perfection, but I can see progress. I can see growth, not necessarily where I'd like to be yet, but not where I was, right? I can see building of relationship. I can see dreams coming true. I can see goodness. And because I can see that, I'm grateful. And I wake up with gratitude. I go to bed with gratitude. I grab hold of it throughout the day when I need it to give myself a little booster shot. And I focus on my blessings and abundance and the things that are accomplished. Do I forget about or pretend that the things that didn't go so well or the things that I'm struggling with, the things that I haven't yet done? Do I forget about those? Do I pretend that they're not there? Absolutely not, but I don't focus on them. They will have their time. They will have their time when they raise to the top of the to-do list and they have earned my focus. Until then, I focus on what is and what's the next best thing for me to do in order to continue to move forward, right? You guys know that the book is out. That just happened this week. It just went live on Monday. It feels like quite a while ago, but I keep looking back and going, that was just Monday when we had the party and we celebrated and I started to see the orders roll in. That's support, right? That's people who are getting and investing in not just me, but in themselves and what we're doing here, what my messages are all about. They're resonating. People are starting to send me pictures as the books are delivered and they're getting them. I'm getting pictures. I got one from Canada so far. I've gotten them from different spaces in the US. I know at least a couple people in the UK have their orders have processed. So I see that, a reach beyond, my community. I'm one person. So I can only be one place at a time. But because the work has been done to immortalize what I believe and what I stand for, that can reach well beyond me and well after me when I'm no longer a thing. I think Brian said to me yesterday, this is something that your grandkids and your great grandkids and those that come after you can pick up and say, my grandma did that. That was my grandma who wrote that. And they can understand how I thought, what I believed in, what I saw as my purpose. They can see that when I'm no longer here to articulate it. What a week, right? What a week. So how could I dare to be focused on the fact that I'm tired. And instead, I see that as the result of a lot of hard work. And it's Friday, right? I get to wrap up the week today. I get to sleep in a little bit tomorrow. There's no 7:15 a.m. meeting. I get to get some of the things done. Tomorrow, me and my husband are working in the garden. If the weather allows and it doesn't rain on us, I've got some serious weeding and preparation to do so that I can get some seeds down. I'm a little behind schedule, but right, my focus was on other things. So now that those things are in motion, I can redirect my focus to the next thing that's important to me. And I love having a beautiful garden. Even if it doesn't produce enough to sustain me, just the fact that I can go outside and do the work with my hands and see the result. I can pull some of my own herbs. I share that with some of my girlfriends. One of my girlfriends told me that after using the sage from my garden for her Thanksgiving meal, she just can't use the dried sage from the store anymore. She saw the difference. She tasted the difference, and now it's not the same when she doesn't have it. That how great did my little hands did that, right? My flowers that I planted 3, 4 years ago, I see them coming up. I'm looking at them with expectancy. I know the ones near the house when I first stepped out. I was in an orange phase, 3, 4. I still am. I love the color orange. And so I planted like 3 or 4 different varieties of lilies and other plants, and they all bloom these beautiful shades of orange. And in my garden, my lilies bloom yellow. They attract the butterflies, they attract the pollinators so that the garden continues to be nourished. You know, I thought it through. What did it need to have the best possibility of yielding fruit and vegetables? My life is no different. What do I need? What's the nourishment? What are the things that I need so that I have the best possibility of yielding the fruit of the seeds of my life that I'm planting? Ask yourself that question because that's your next best thing. That's the step that you take. What do you need? What's important to you? What are you trying to accomplish? When you have that clarity, when you have that focus, then you can provide the things necessary, right? So that you continue to advance towards that thing. I've got to completely rip this garden apart. I've let weeds grow through the winter, and there's just stuff in there. And it's funny that amongst all that stuff, some of my plants that come back every year have already started to produce. I've got more basil that I know what I'm going to do with, right? And I love it. It smells great. It's something that I can share. It's the product of my hands, of my work. So if I give it just a little bit of focus and I prune away the gunk that's built up over the last several months, then I can prepare the soil to receive the seed, and then I have to be patient. There's no way around it. Those seeds have to have time to germinate. They have to have time for the roots to find their way deep into the soil to support the plants. But oh, eventually you see just that little green pop up. And I don't know if you guys have done much planting, but in the beginning, all the plants look the same. That's why gardeners mark what they planted because when they come up, they all basically look the same in the beginning. But as they're paced and as those roots are deepening, as they're nourished and they're getting stronger, their true personality, who they really are, what their real purpose is, starts to show. And I can see now which is a fruit that I love, which is a veggie, which is herbs that I can use to season my food. They all were planted just like you with a purpose. But unlike us, they don't get distracted. They don't get distracted. They just do what they were designed to do. Imagine what our lives would be if we allowed that pace period to really deepen our stance, deepen our commitment, deepen our belief in us and in our creator. And we just did what we were designed to do. We'd have amazing lives. We'd still have struggles, but we would accomplish so much more. So be like the plant. Dig in, put roots down with where your purpose is, and allow yourself to flourish. And then eventually, in a few weeks for some, a couple months for others, I'll have full blown plants, fruit. They will have moved from plant to the fruit or the vegetable that they were destined to be. And then I watch them grow and mature and get to just the right spot where I can pluck them and bring them into my kitchen, and I'll take pictures with them, and I do it every year. It's a big deal. I love it. Even if I get one or two of a particular type, you'd swear I've solved world hunger because I'm so proud. Look what my hands did. Look what I accomplished. I celebrate. I've propelled and actually am receiving the fruit of my labor. Magical. I get to live it. I get to experience it, right? I get to share it with those that I care about. I get to elevate my meals because of the freshness and the no pesticides and all the stuff that we're fighting when we go into the stores. It's amazing where somebody who hasn't worked in it, someone who hasn't been committed to it, somebody who didn't go through the pruning and the preparation and the pace, be like, girl, you did all that work for three potatoes. You could just go to the store and buy a full bag, 10 pounds at a time. Why are you so excited about three potatoes? Because of the work that I put in. Those potatoes that I worked hard for them to come to fruition and to be a potato. When I started, they were just a bud off of an old potato, right? You cut that away, you put it in the ground, and it reproduces itself. Magic. You are no different. What you put in the ground is going to reproduce in your life. So keep asking yourself, what seeds am I planting? What am I focused on? Right? Am I planting peace? Am I planting joy? Am I planting love? Am I planting commitment? Or am I planting some of that other stuff? Anxiety, despair, frustration, a bad attitude, lack of commitment, bad habits. Am I reinforcing those? Because those are going to take root, and grow in your life as well. Whatever you plant, so shall you yield. I can't plant a potato and grow an avocado. It's not what I planted. So I can't expect that. If I never drop an avocado seed in my garden, why would I be walking around expecting avocados? Not going to happen. So look at your yield and ask yourself what you've planted to bring that particular garden to life. And where you see things that no longer serve you, recognize them as weeds. Our distractions are weeds. Our self limiting beliefs are weeds. The people in our lives that are the naysayers, weeds. Recognize the weeds for what they are, get them out of your garden, and plant the life that you are looking to to yield, right? It sounds simple, but it's hard work. It's hard work, but it's exciting work because it is the work of creativity that becomes the life that you experience. So if you don't like what you're experiencing, check your bag. What seeds are in there? Before I drop more of those in the ground, let me make sure I've grabbed what I really want to grow, and then cultivate that garden and give it the love that it needs to nourish and grow and become the fruit, the veggie that you were trying to yield in the first place, creating the life that you desire. See your life as a garden. I do, because gardens are beautiful. They attract beautiful things, right? But they also attract scary stuff that you don't want around. Weeds, you have to get your gloves out and really go to work and prepare that thing. Prune away the bad stuff and get it ready. That's all work. But if you won't work on you in creation of the one life that you would like to have, what are you working on and what are you working for? Where's all of your energy going? When you're tired at the end of the week, why is that? What have you produced? What are you preparing to produce? Those are questions that you have with yourself. And as the answers come to you, what's really working, you do more of, and what's not, it's where you make the adjustments. In doing something different, you create the opportunity to have something different. Don't allow those to be bad conversations. Throw the judgment away. There's enough folks in the world that can't wait for the opportunity to judge you. Their opinion didn't have any more merit than you give it. So work on your life and in crafting and creating one that's going to serve you, one that you'll be proud of on that last day, right? One that you'll go, I did the best that I could with what I had. I had some good days, I had some bad days, but I won't complain. My good days outweighed my bad days. I was blessed with a life that bloomed beautiful flowers, yielded a crop that supported my family, showed me things, colors, shapes, smells that I didn't imagine. But because I cultivated and did the things that led me to the life that I was destined to have, it was beautiful. I enjoyed it. I can celebrate it. I can rest peacefully because I have a no regret life. I did the things that I was destined to do. Those things are going to be relationship. Those things are going to be the things that you were supposed to focus on, those gifts that were in you. It's not going to be the type of house, the type of car, how much money you had in the bank. All that stuff's going to fade away. It's great to have in the present moment, right? Because the more comfortable we are, the more positioned we are to help others, that sort of thing. So there's nothing wrong with having a prosperous life, but true prosperity at the end is not going to be measured in things and bank account. Who's around you? What relationships have you cultivated? Did you honor that gift that was planted in you? That thing that just kept popping up. You planted a whole bunch of stuff, but there's this one odd plant that no matter what you do, it keeps cropping up. Your destiny calling to you, telling you you were designed with a purpose. There's something that you are supposed to do. And when you're on that path, I go back to Coach Prime. I think I referenced him last week. He said, I don't go to work, I go to my purpose. Every day, I get up, I get dressed, I get in my car, and I go to my purpose. And because I'm operating in and out of my purpose, I never work. I hadn't worked a day in my life. It's not work when you're honoring what's in you and what you were designed to do. So that's where your focus should be. If you don't know what that is, it's okay. It's just time to get quiet, to get still, and to figure it out. Why am I here? What calls to me when I'm really quiet? What are the gifts that are innately within me? What are the things that I'm known for? Where is my gifting? How does that gifting show up? What opportunities are there for that gifting to shine? Because those are the places, the spaces, the people, the environment that you should be in so that the weeds can be pruned away. You can receive the skills, the nourishment, the things that you need during preparation. And then you're on your path, step by step, day by day, choice by choice, being prepared. And then eventually you see that thing unfold. And like that eagle over my head, you soar. There's no way to be in your purpose and not to soar. If anybody thinks I've walked a day since Monday, you don't know. My feet haven't touched the ground. I'm soaring. My feet have not touched the ground because of the pure joy of accomplishing something that I've wanted to do for so long. I am just soaring through life right now. It's a mountaintop season in my life. Mountaintop, beautiful views, cheer of the crowd. It won't always be that way, But man, while you have it, enjoy it. See the fruit of your labor, celebrate it, and prepare yourself for what's coming next. I think Brian and Jay hear me say it all the time. You have to strike while the iron's hot, right? Right now is a season in my life where I don't rest on my laurels. No, it's like there's attention, there's focus, there's things that are happening, and I need to be responsive to those things and make sure that I'm giving them their proper attention so that they have the opportunity to develop into what they should be. I am a what's next type of girl. I'm already working on, well into, almost done with the next phase of SOAR. However, y'all saw the party on Monday and it hasn't stopped. I am still in celebratory mode because when those moments come, when you stop and you celebrate them and you honor them, you appreciate them, you give that gratitude, it prepares you for what's next. It will help you when you're not in the mountain, when you're not on that mountaintop and you're in that valley experience. I'll be able to look back at this time and go, oh man, what a time in my life. What a season. What a blessing. What support that I have. Who, and look at all the people who've poured into me. And you just don't think it, you feel it, you really experience it. And it'll lift you up when you're having some of those darker days. That's the beauty of you have to mark those moments. You bookmark them and you can pull them up whenever you need them. Just like my gratitude practice. I choose where I focus. And I love today's quote from Napoleon Hill. He says, focus on the possibilities for success, not on the potential for failure, right? Where are you focused? What does success look like for you? What is it that, where are you driving yourself to? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? What's the solutions to the obstacles that are showing up? When you're working from that mindset, you are squarely focused on success. There's always a potential for failure, but what happens when we fail? We learn, we adjust, we iterate, we take that new knowledge and we incorporate that into the journey. And now we're just that much more prepared for success. So focus on the possibilities for success. Learn from any failures that you experience and keep moving towards the goals. As long as you're doing that, you're successful. Are you going to be tired some days? Absolutely. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. But it's so worth it. It's your life. You are not viewing somebody else's story. This is your reality. You're the author of your story. Do you even have a pen in hand? Are you crafting the narrative? Are you writing the story that you would like to experience? What's on the page? What are you writing? Remember that it's up to you. You are the author of your story. All that external stuff is feedback. You determine what feedback you take in, what feedback you block. Learn from it all. Use it to craft your story. Take your life just that seriously. Seriously. Every day is a new opportunity. That's the beginning of my prayer. Thank you for another day that wasn't promised to me, filled with opportunities and hope that every new day brings. But it's up to me to make the most of those possibilities and to hold on to that hope so that I can keep moving forward. So focus on the possibilities of success, not on the potential for failure. Realizing that that potential for failure is going to give you new data points. When you experience it, it's just a learning opportunity. New data that can accelerate you towards success. We're not successful despite failures. Watch your language, watch your understanding of it. You're not successful despite it. You're successful because of it. It's a part of the journey. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the weeding. Oh, that thing won't work. Have to prune that away. That's not how you do it. What did I learn from this? And you incorporate that and you keep moving forward. So rethink your relationship with failure. It's not the enemy. And people who are super successful understand that above most things. They have a very good relationship with failure. Listen to Michael Jordan. Listen to the things Kobe said before he passed away. Look at some of the most prolific people in their disciplines. They have had some bumpy rides. We only see the results, right? We don't see them early in the morning doing the work, late at night when everyone else is asleep, still digging in. We don't see that. But that's how they got there. Hard work, dedication, being the one that'll do the next best thing when everyone else is giving up. Kobe often talked about after a loss, going into the everybody else going home, going out to celebrate a win, going home after a loss, or maybe going to, to soothe their spirits because they're frustrated from the loss. He would stay behind and shoot. One of the best shooters in the world, well into his career and a household name. He still had that discipline. He had those habits, worked his way through, and accomplished so much in such a short time. But he experienced more, lived more in what we would consider a short lifetime than a lot of people would if they lived a century. It's not the number of days in your life, it's the life in your number of days. That's another quote that I run across every once in a while. I can't remember who said it, but that's not me. That is a quote that's out there. Talking about the value of your days. What are you focused on? What are you planting? Love that quote also. So, Brian, I'm going to grab the comments and then I'd love to hear what it is you'd like to share. Let's see. Kim, my favorite color is orange. Happy Friday. Sonia says, good morning, everyone. Grand Rising, Sonia and Kim. Great to see you both. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss. I think that's it right now. So, Brian, let me pass it over to you. I'd love to hear what you'd like to share.
I'm loving this talk this morning. Everything you're saying, it's resonating. Isn't that the word? Resonating. I'm picking up what you're putting down. That's what resonating is. You have to put it in layman's terms. I'm picking up what you're putting down. And it is right on time. It started with this quote: focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. I talked about one of my mentees yesterday. His name's Jay. And all he talked about when he was a kid was what he didn't have. And I used to encourage him, look, man, stop talking about that. Focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want, because that's what you'll get. We have to remember that. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on opulence, prosperity, all of these opportunities, abundance? If you focus on that, that's what your mind starts to look for in life. It's like that. It's like that plant that you're talking about. I'm somewhat of a gardener, somewhat. Not making a profession of excellence over here. Somewhat of a gardener. And in that gardening season, what I've learned is the plants are looking for nutrients. The plants are looking for sunshine. The plants are looking for water. They are looking for those things because that's the only thing they're created to look for. As humans, we have the option to look for anything. One of the things I used to do when I was a big gardener was hydroponics. I would much rather do hydroponics than traditional gardening any day. And the reason for hydroponics for me was because of the nutrient delivery. So I used to build uh, housing structures. I used to build grow rooms. I built nutrient delivery systems. The reason hydroponics was so important for me was because I knew that the plants were looking for nutrients. They were having to go and search in the soil for nutrients. Whereas with hydroponics, I was able to deliver that directly. Now, I bet you're saying to yourself, what's that got to do with my life? What's that got to do with what I'm focusing on? I'll tell you. Hydroponics for me is the same as getting in touch with my creator. Traditional gardening for me is like being out here wandering aimlessly without direction, without an objective. Yeah, you might get there, but you're going to have to do a whole lot more work to get it. Focus on your creator, and he will direct your path. He'll guide your steps. I don't understand how people live this life and really think, focus is just about those things or the way you're feeling. This life is not about us. This life is so much bigger than anything we can imagine. And when we focus on the entity, the creator, everything starts to change at that point. Our lives start to align. We start to meet the people that we should be talking to. We start to see those are nutrients. We start to get the energy, that sunshine that we need to grow, right? And that darkness, that pacing period, right? It comes just at the right time. You don't see a plant talking about, man, cut that light back on, man. It's dark in here. I can't see. You don't hear a plant saying that. Nah, plant's a plant. And a plant knows that it needs darkness to grow. Plus, plants can't really talk. So there's that. But the plant doesn't complain because the plant knows its part. Humans, we're so smart that we forget our part, our role in this thing. Our role in this thing is to act as service. And the only thing you need to do to be of service is to listen to your creator. Focus on your creator. You get what you focus on. Our creator is opulence. Our creator is success. Our creator is opportunity. Our creator is everything that you've ever wanted. Focus on that and you'll get that stuff. I promise you. I'm sitting up here right now with a big head 6-year-old that just won't let me go. You know why? Because I focused on it. I wanted this. And I'm loving every minute of it. Every minute of it. Because I focused on that. You get what you focus on. So focus on what you want.
Love it, love it, love it. I love the analogy of the hydroponics versus the regular gardening. Working harder versus working smarter. I love it. I love it. I Yeah, I haven't tried much in the hydroponic space, but you intrigued me. I did do a little internal gardening this past last year to introduce it to one of my granddaughters that was interested. So we had the grow light in right here in my office, and we had it set up, and she had some different plants that she wanted to try. We didn't worry about the season and all the things, but just to give her that introduction of preparing the soil and being disciplined and watering on a regular basis and having the lighting was necessary on the inside because there was not nearly as much sunlight as those seeds needed to go. Now, like kids have a tendency to do, those plants grew, she got excited, and then she was on to the next thing. She she lost interest. So, but we did try it a different way just to introduce her to the beginning process of gardening. But hydroponics, you've mentioned that before. That might be something I need to filter into the to the process.
I
All right,
love it.
Miss
You'll
Mr.
love it too.
J. Did you say you love hydroponics?
Yep, you'll love it also.
Okay, I'll have to give it a try. I may have to reach out for some guidance. All right, Mr. J, we are coming close to the end. I'm gonna pitch it over to you. I've got to jump on a call in a few minutes at the top of the hour. But you guys are more than welcome to close things out if I don't get back before everything has been said. So with that, you go ahead and take it. If you guys see me go off camera, I can still hear you. But I need to take care of something shortly, and I'll do that as quickly as possible. All right, Jay.
Thank you, Cassandra. Let's
Mhm.
let's get right to the Bible verse. And I'm going to go straight to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 2. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what is in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. If that's not focus, then I don't know what is. Moses and the people of Israel going through the wilderness in search of the promised land, right? You are, imagine being led by a man who once served and who was part of the people who oppressed you. Now he's leading you. Do you think that kind of played a factor in their minds for 40 years? Really, what the verse is saying is it's a reminder of maintaining focus on God, even in the midst of life's trials and distractions. And it encourages believers to trust in God's guidance, even under all those types of circumstances, problems, issues, a walk through the wilderness for 40 years, right? And to remain steadfast in obedience to God's commands. So for us, just as the Israelites were tested in the wilderness, believers may encounter challenges that test our faith and commitment. However, by staying focused on God's promises and relying on his strength, we can navigate through difficult seasons with perseverance and I think I'll use a Don Kingism, stick to itiveness, right? Being able to stick to it, walk through it. And I think that's something that we can really take a look at when we look at our lives, look back at Deuteronomy, and man, they went through it 40 years. So when you were talking about the, you always make the analogy of the garden and being planted with focus. Plants, they do what they are designed to do. And we should do what we are designed to do, and that is to stay focused on our faith. For believers, it's faith in God. For others, it may be faith in humanity, our fellow man. And through it all, yeah, those weeds are going to get in the way. Man, if you imagine going through the weeds for 40 years, day in, day out, they didn't have hydroponics back in the day. They had manna.
But hey, Jay, now we're gonna get into it. Let's get into the hydroponics. Let's talk about the Babylonian gardens and how they were the start of hydroponics. Let's talk about Earth. We are
Yeah.
a big ball of water. Whether it's a round ball or a flat ball in a circle, it's all water underneath us. We are living in a hydroponic world.
Hmm.
That's it. I just wanted to let everybody know that this whole thing started with hydroponics. Hydroponics isn't anything new. I
Mm-mm.
had to let people know. When people started talking about hydro, let's talk about hydro. And it's not just about cannabis. Hydroponics has been around forever. And it is one of the most advantageous things that anybody can do. It is sustainable agriculture. And although the infrastructure is having a hard time uh, seeing how they can implement hydroponics into the way that they're doing things, is going to take a little bit to make that segue, to make that transition into hydroponics. It's still happening. And it's happening because it's always been here. I couldn't help it, Jay. You started talking about hydro like it wasn't around then. I had to let you know, man. Hydro was here long before anything else.
So in hydro, in the sense that the people in going through the desert, they didn't have that as a tool for themselves. What they
Oh yeah,
had was
they
their
were in the
faith.
desert.
Yeah,
Right, they were in the desert. You're right.
they were in the desert. But, and they had to rely on God's providence. And lo and behold, there was manna from heaven, right? Now, you brought up hydroponics and history, and I'm going to tell you about my ancestors' history. When they planted at night under a full moon. So here's the analogy. We are, if we look at ourselves as plants, right? We're going to we are definitely going to need the sun. We are but we're always going to be surrounded by darkness, the dark of night. But how we choose to grow in even in darkness is what's going to propel us and provide us with our fruits. Because what people didn't understand, Western folks didn't understand about my ancestors and what was going on, was that the full moon, if the full moon has an effect on the tides, right? Water, and you water these plants at night under a full moon, the effect on those plants is going to be exponential as far as growth is concerned, because now we're using the night to help their growth. And this was a study that was done in the 1800s by German scientists who visited Guam. And so it's been proven. The yield was better. The crop was better. There weren't issues with the crops failing because they used the night to help in that growth. We're going to experience darkness as human beings. It's how we choose to use that darkness to either keep us in the dark or to propel us to provide us with the fruits of our labor. The moon, even in the midst of darkness, there's light. And we can choose as human beings, not plants, how we grow. I think that's a really important analogy to understand. If the plants can use darkness to grow exponentially, then so can we. And as believers and as people of faith, right? The moon. So if we are the plants, what is the moon? Our faith in God, our faith in each other, our faith in ourselves, right? For believers, it's God, unconditionally. So, yeah, when you, when everybody was talking about the plants, that's immediately what I thought of was that darkness, the night, right? Man, I might, and we, in the Bible, it talks about seasons all the time. And I'm going through a season. Boy, am I going through a season. Whew, I hope it's not I hope it's not 40 years. Whew. But even if it is, I'm going to grow through it. If we are going through it, then we should understand that we are growing through it. And this is what focus can allow you to do, get you through this time, through that darkness, that dark of night. Take that focus and use it to grow. And you will see the fruits of your labor in that garden. And just watch the beauty that will come from it. The butterflies, the rainbow, the fruits, all of that. Thanks, fam. Cassandra, if you're if you're available.
I am still here and available. So yes, thank you for that. As you were talking, um, focus just kept coming to me, especially when you were talking about the benefits of the night, the darkness. Are we learning? Are we seeing the benefit? Or are we just frustrated by the fact that it's dark? Right. And I love the go verse. And if you have to go through it, you may as well grow through it. And that growth opportunity is there every single time. But our focus will determine whether or not we actually get it. If we get that growth, what am I focused on? Do I see the gift in this opportunity? When I think about the dark, as a young person, it was scary. Now that I'm more mature, it's restful, it's peaceful, it's the opportunity to relax and recharge. Same night didn't change. My focus did. Am I looking at the fact that it's dark and seeing that as a negative? Or am I looking for the gifting in the darkness? The beauty of the moon, the quiet of the night, the humming of the insects and animals that are around. We hear things at night. A lot of times they're present during the day as well, but there's so much hustle and bustle and so much going on that we can't hear it. We miss it. But at night, as it begins to be still and quiet, and things and people start to get to their restful place, so much opportunity there, opportunity to connect, opportunity to reflect. That's when my divine downloads happen. They don't typically happen during the day. I got lucky not too long ago and I had one during the day, but I was so sleepy that I just couldn't do anything but lay down. And as I was laying down and getting in that restful place and drifting off to sleep, exactly what I needed came to me. Why? My mind was quiet. I wasn't focused on anything anymore. I was submitting to the peace and the rest and preparing myself to go into darkness. It's dark when we're asleep. Eyes are closed. Cutting out the noise around me. And in that moment, there was an opportunity for that divine download and for me to receive something that I needed, a solution. I was trying to think of a title for something. And I had all kinds of hokey ideas rolling around in my head. And as soon as I started to drift off to sleep, That title came to me so clearly, and it was perfect. It was just what I needed. All the noise was drowned out, and I was able to connect and release and receive. I received exactly what I needed. So the darkness definitely has a purpose, and it's up to us to operating that purpose versus being frustrated by the fact that we don't have the light that we think that we should have. If you want to know what it's like to have light all the time, travel. There's places that have 20 plus hours a day of light. Can you imagine the adjustment that it would take for us? How do you sleep? How do you keep your rhythm going? And how do you know what time of the day it is at any point in time? If you want to lose track of time, go to Vegas. Inside of every casino, you don't see the outside. It looks like it's light all the time. It always looks like daytime. That's not an accident. That's by design. That's to trick your body and trick your mind so that you stay in that heightened, awakened state. That's why there's all the lights, all the noise, all of that. Because the longer they can keep you awake, the more opportunity they have to take all of your money. So it's by design. They understand. So that rhythm, that cycle that we're accustomed to, night is a part of it. Darkness is a part of it. So don't bemoan it. Use it for your advantage. Take what the night has to give you, just like you do what the day has to give you. They each have their purpose, just like the seasons that Jay was talking about. There are things that we get from every single season. They have their purpose. But if all you want is spring, that's when everything is refreshed and renewed, and you see the buds and all of that. The weather is probably at its best. It's not too hot, not too cold, depending on where you are in the world. If that's all you had, everything would be so different. Your plants wouldn't be the same. You wouldn't be the same. Those cycles, those seasons all serve a purpose. But as humans, because we're so comfortable with what we're comfortable with, anything outside of that, we automatically start to look for what's wrong with it. Just shift your focus a little bit. What is for me in this season? Yes, I enjoyed the spring. I absolutely loved it. It was great. It was beautiful. But what's for me in summer? What's for me in fall? What's for me in winter? Every season has its purpose and has its gifting for you. So don't spend all of your time looking back at the season that has passed. Take the gifts from that, the knowledge from that, and move forward and take that with you into your current season and find the gifting in that. You can't find it when you're looking backwards. If all you're thinking about is what was, you miss the experience of what is. And what is where life is actually happening. What was is gone, it's a memory. What might be is a fantasy. We don't know what the future holds, and as soon as we get there, it becomes the present, right? We can never be in the future. As soon as we get there, it is our present. So the future is a fantasy. Focus on right now. Focus on what you have, what you're experiencing, who's with you, and be grateful for that experience. Look for the gifting in that experience and see how this season can accelerate your path towards your destiny, towards the life that you were created, crafted, designed to live. Bring forth the fruit of the seed that was planted in you. That's the purpose of our lives. We have that garden, it's within us. But are you nurturing it? Are you allowing the roots to grow? Are you giving it what it needs so that you can deliver the crop that you were designed to yield? We are all different. We're all special. We all have our uniqueness. Operate with grace and gratitude from your uniqueness. Don't want to be like everybody else. I had somebody who told me I was goals. They wanted to be just like me when I grew up. I'm like, honey, be better. Be the best version of you, which is so much better than a copy of me would ever be. That job's already taken. I'm doing the best that I can with it. But you and your uniqueness, what you can bring to the world, what maybe we can do collectively, with you operating as the best version of you and me operating as the best version of me, man, the impact that we can make. That's why I love seeing my kids excel. Me, I love seeing my employees excel. I don't want them to be knockoffs of me. I want them to be the best version of them that they can ever be, authentic. There's nothing like the authentic pieces, right? Those maintain their value. The knockoffs don't have value in the first place. So operating your uniqueness. It's okay to see things in others that you admire, see maybe traits that you want to develop in yourself, but you don't want to be them. I had to learn that. I used to say that, oh, Brene Brown, Oprah Winfrey, Maya Angelou, people that I just absolutely admire. But I can't be them. Tabitha Brown, I love you. I can't be you. You are doing such a fabulous job at that, right? I can take some cues from you. I can learn some things from you. But what I'm supposed to do with that learning is incorporate it into my life so that I can be the best version of Cassandra. Same for you. The best version of you is what this world needs, not another me. That's quite a journey. I promise you, you don't want to pick it up. I promise you, you don't. But the best version of you, the world is waiting for. The world is better when she or he shows up. So focus on the possibilities for success, not on the potential for failure. Napoleon Hill. Take that with you. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I wanted to also talk about something that Brian brought up, and you reminded me of it.
Hmm.
You know, he was talking about Bree and how he manifested that moment, right? And I, it's hitting me at this moment what I'm thinking about because in just a little bit, my, as I've told or as I've said a few times here on the show, I'm taking care of my grandkids. I had two of them, and well, now their mama and dad is they've come and they're gonna settle into their new place, and so I'm here in this season trying to, you know, understand what's going on and find the positiveness in it. And I was reminded of that with my daughter. She's got a good job. She's, so does her significant other, and they've now got a place of their own, and all of these things, right? And why would I choose to focus on something that's negative, right? And what you said about the future, what about the now? Because every time we're trying to catch up to the future, it's already here. Um, so I get it, right? And so this is the thing that I'm just kind of thinking through and trying to understand and try to focus on what is the positive. And the time that I shared with them, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
And it's they're only 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours away, right? But still, it's just, man, talk about seasons.
Yeah, I remember when my daughter moved a couple of hours away. She worked right, I mean, a block away from my house. So not only did I see her every day, I took my grandson to school. I picked him up at school. She would come throughout the day sometime on her breaks and grab something to eat or whatever. And so I was accustomed to seeing them on a daily basis. They're only a couple of hours away, but seeing them regularly is a little bit harder than it used to be. And so I get that. But I also see when every time I go visit them, especially a lot of times it's around my older grandson's sporting events. Um, and I see the community that they've built. I see the friends that they have now that they wouldn't have had they not made the move. I see them developing and growing in their career. I see the homes that they've been able to build for their not the physical homes. Even they've purchased a home, but they've purchased a house. But the home that they've built for themselves and their kiddos and the community, and I'm so proud. I get to see I had my first kid in my early 20s, and now she's in her 30s and has built a beautiful life and is giving to my grandkids what I couldn't even give to her until later on in life. So to see the fruit of my labor in front of me, to see my children excelling and doing the things that I prayed for, where's the negative in that? I mean, I could be selfish and I could want my grandkids around all the time, but that's not my role. My role was to raise my children. And that has happened, and I see the fruit of that labor. My youth went into raising children early years, and to see them thriving and to be in such upstanding adults and great parents, man, I didn't waste a moment of my youth. And I'm so happy to live, have lived long enough to see it and to have healthy, happy grandkids. And I get to go and love on them whenever I want to, and then I get to give them back to their mama and get back to my peace and quiet. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's great when I go spend the weekend with them, or sometimes a whole week, and I get to spoil everybody and drop in a little sprinkle of granny, and then I come back to my reality. But I've adjusted to what that reality is, and I play my role and I play it well. Those babies know. The granddaughter is 5 now. They only live 20, 30 minutes away, and they were here Monday. But last week when they were coming by, she came into the house and she was telling her mom, I made a wish. I made a wish. I'm wishing for a dog that barks and walks and does stuff on its own, but a play dog. Man, I heard her whispering that to her mom. I was on Amazon so fast finding that dog. And 2 days later, it was delivered to her house. And she told her mom, I am so happy with what Granny sent me. Wishes really do come true. My role. I make wishes come true for my grandbabies. I make life a little bit easier for my kids. They are very successful in their own right, but they're also young in their careers and building families. So I can drop in and do a little something that takes I love being their relief valve. And I love spoiling the grandkids. Their little eyes light up when they see me. That little girl on a regular basis sends pictures and videos because she wants me to see what she's done at work. The grandson in San Antonio, every time I call, he goes, roll him, roll him, roll him. He's not even 2 yet, but he does that every time because when he was in the hospital, we sang the wheels on the bus go round and round, and he just every time. He can't even say it the full word, but I know what he wants, and he's associated that song with his granny. So you find your role, you settle in, and you appreciate that, and then you maximize it. You blow that thing out the water, and you be the best grandparent that those kids can have, and it's amazing. You'll love every minute of it. It was an adjustment, though. Absolutely. And you have those emotions because you're still wrapped in all that flesh, Jay, human. And we're talking about change. It's going to be different. But in that difference, focus on the gifting. What can you and Renee do together as a couple that was a little bit harder to do because you were taking care of toddlers? Where can you focus that time to move you through and elevate some of the other things that you're working on? And oh man, when you make that trip or when they come to see you, what a season of celebration that is. But it's not easy. Easier said than done because you're going to have to deal with the change. I love
I,
seeing them pop up on your lap and stuff and hear those little noises in the background.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna miss. But there is a gift that I was given, and that is the knowledge that I'm not as young as I used to be.
Yeah.
Man, and understanding, boy, two toddlers at the same time, man, they wear you out.
Every day.
Um, every day. But I loved every minute of it. I
Hmm.
loved every minute of it. And yeah, there was definitely some growth during during that time. It wasn't dark, but it was there. Man, there's definitely some growth.
All right. Well, with that, we are going to wrap up today's edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Thank you guys for a wonderful week, for all of your encouragement and your engagement. We will be back here on Tuesday, 7:15 a.m. For Transformation Tuesday. But you guys can catch us tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central is Story Time with Jay and Friends. We get to learn more about his culture. We get to hear some of the pieces that he's done. Tomorrow I believe, is going to be a new piece. And we get to hear some of his voice theater and meet some of the other people that are living inside his head and come out of his throat. It's an amazing journey. So you guys join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central on LinkedIn for Story Time with Jay and Friends. And then we'll see you back on Tuesday. If you haven't gotten your SOAR book, go out to Amazon, search for my name. You can't miss it. We are preparing for the challenge, a 5-day challenge that'll be driven from the book. And that's going to be next month, about a little bit less than a month from now. So you've got time to get the book, to read it, understand the concepts, and then we'll do some deep learning in April to make sure you really get a chance to integrate those concepts into your life. So that's it for today, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow for Jay and Friends.
Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you join us every week, Tuesday through Friday, 7:15 a.m. Central Time for the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any member of the FAM Collective on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone.